Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, so welcome back to Reframe Mindset Podcast. My name is Colin Smith Brooks, and if you have listened to the last episode, you'd have known that I slightly mentioned the other time that I got beaten or hit in school by my principal. So I guess I said that I will just talk about that story in the next episode, which is this one. Yeah, so how that came about. So I'm in grade 6. So this time I'm in grade 6, And if from the other episode I know that okay, my auntie teach there, and by I reached grade 6 she never teach at the school, but she knew a lot of the teacher from the school. So like things like report card when I got in trouble, all those things she would have known, just because she have teacher's friend from that school, even when she gone. So I always have this kind of chip on my shoulder to say, okay, yeah, I can't, like all the other students usually be troublesome or whatnot. I never really have, regardless, even when she leave, I never really have that free leeway. So there was this at the school. The this time when we were in grade 6, our class was inside a church beside the school, because the school was pretty small, and by that time when we reached grade 6 we had too much people, and we had to have the grade 6 class over at the church, in the church inside that school, beside the school. And beside the church there was like this path that go to a mountain, and the mountain area had like tambourines, and but also there was this rumor and thing like that. There was this man that lived here, and there was like like how we have duppy stories and stuff like that. There was like a rumor surrounding that area as well, so that also kind of made me kind of afraid and stuff like that, because the thing about it is that let's say when you go there and thing and we get the tambourine, if the chance that the man actually was there, he could have taken us or kill us or whatever. So as a child I was a pretty fearful and shy person, because I never wanted to get in trouble. There was no benefit in me getting in trouble or something like that. But for some reason now, some of my friends were saying, okay, they were going there one lunchtime. And then I said, okay, I'm going to do it too. And we walk and we walk and we walk. And by the time we reach there and got some tambourines and thing, we actually did it during lunchtime. And lunchtime was 1 hour. So when we had our thrills and fun and whatnot, when we were walking back, somebody said, okay, we're not going to reach back in time. And because of that now, it was we walk, and then, so the lunchtime was around from 11 to 12. And by the time we reached back, it was like after 1, after 1 o'clock. So when we actually went in the class, the teacher is like, yo, there's no talking away or anything out of this. You're going to the principal office. And that was basically the first time I actually had, well, no. Before that, we had and my first encounter with him was the first day of grade 6, and that first day, I had a very big panic attack with the man. Like the first day, he come in and then he started quizzing us like grade 6 person, like ask some question, and then he pick on me and ask me a question, and I was so afraid. I went up there and I knew the answer, but he would ask me, um, 6 times 4. How do you get the? So he would ask me the answer, and I told him the answer, and he asked me, how do I get that answer? And that was what scared me because I knew the answer, but I never knew how to represent how I got the answer. But that was my first experience with the man. And from there I say, okay, it's best not the less I have to deal with that man, the better. But that they know actually have to go to the principal. We have to walk there. But it's not the teacher carrying us or anything. No, it's that we have to walk there ourselves. And it's like, I walked in and I walked into the principal office. And he wasn't there yet, so we were just sitting there and waiting. I'm like, dog, why the hell did I follow these people? I was like, really, dog. And then he came in, and then when he came in and saw us, and he's like, what are you doing here? And one of them said, okay, the teacher said we must come here. And it's like, why? And then somebody tell him the reason why and the more they talk, I was like, dog, this is the worst. Why they haven't followed these people? Why they haven't followed these people? And eventually hear the story, and then he said, okay, you take it serious and say, we get, you can't just go away like this, and he have his belt, During these times, beating was the norm. Beating was the norm. Now, corporal punishment, I think, is that. Our beating in schools is not really allowed. No, but then it was the norm. It was the norm. So, but my principal had a special belt. Just like my grade 1 teacher, she had a special belt, and my principal also had a special belt. So when he took that out, now everybody's like, and everybody is just okay waiting to get their hit. And I see the first one went up and I get the hit and I did a cry. The second one went up, and then as I get the first beating, she started crying, bro. She started to cry, bro. Isn't it? And while I was watching this, I was trying to muster up myself, saying that, I won't cry, and I want to take this like a man. I'll take this. But then I was really, really brown, so this, I was close to being white, because I was so brown that you could see my veins. You could see the running of my veins. The blue, it would look kind of blue, greenish, and you could see the lining after. And if you pinch me, it would turn red. If I had a crush or like someone, you'll see the blush on my face. You'll see the red, my face turn red and pink or something like that. So nothing could really hide. I couldn't really hide anything due to my color. When I get the first hit, I took it like a man. I was not crying, but you could see the red in my hands. I could see my face turning and say, this shit hurts. And then one more. Because I get about 10 or something like that. I was like, and it's not stopping until a break, I was like, until I get the 10 one, and then did a break. But my whole body could show, say, I was crying on the inside, I was crying on the inside. And then after that, just say, could just come out and go back to class. And I was like, from then, you really heard that I actually got in trouble for anything, I was none of those things, I know. That was an experience. It's like, Mm-mm. That's why most times you shouldn't really follow the crowd. Don't fall into peer pressure. And uh, it's a short-lived thrill that really ends up turning good. Yeah. I guess that's the moral of the story. So yeah, thank you for listening and look for the next episode.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
This episode is going to kind of get into why I rarely curse. Like curse word, things like the F word, if you know the word, and like sex and all those connotations. Why, if you have listened to the podcast, maybe recently now I'm more comfortable saying it, even though I rarely say it, or you might have heard me say it one or two times on my podcasts. I'm not sure, but you know, people who would have known me, or whatever, would have know that you really heard me curse, and if you heard me curse, it would be like one of those rare occurrence. And I always have to go back again, to primary school and thing. So back in primary school and thing, I